Welcome to the Last Show Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the live stream Twitch. Eventually we'll be on YouTube. Thank you for tuning into the podcast. You should subscribe. A little behind the scenes for the people. It's Kortney Shane Williams. Let's go. Hello. Welcome to the Last Show Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to the show. My name is Kortney Shane Williams. I'm the host of the Last Show Podcast. This is how it gets down once a week. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google, and TuneIn Radio. Go to my website, KortneyShaneWilliams.com. That's Kortney, ShaneWilliams.com. You can see where I'm performing my live stand-up comedy shtick. The website is officially updated all the way up, man. You can see my upcoming dates. I will be in Oklahoma City. While I read my dates, I'll be in Oklahoma City July 7th through the 10th. Tickets are on sale. I will be recording my comedy album at Laughs Comedy Club August 27th and 28th. Got 4 shows, and so that'll be dope. And then the week after that, I'll be in Sacramento, California at Laughs Unlimited. You guys can check out all the dates on the website. All the info and stuff that you need will be there. Also, go to my Instagram and Twitter at Kortney Shane. That's at Kortney Shane. You guys on Twitch streaming the show. Thank you for streaming. These shows are actually available on replay on Twitch, and they're actually available on YouTube and all that, man. Facebook, I probably put it all up in there, man. Thank you for tuning into the show. This is a sports, pop culture, music podcast. Sometimes in that order. All right, that's what the show is. By the way, this is normally a weekly show, but this week I think I did doing like 3 episodes in 7 days, and I've seen a reaction. And the reaction is apparently y'all want me to do more work because more people are watching the show. Now I'm like, oh man, because I always said like it's the Last Show Podcast because it's maybe it. But then when y'all start listening to the last show, now all of a sudden I got to do more shows. So I'm afraid this will never be the last show, which makes me sad. Like, I don't want to be here. How did we get here? Nobody wants to be here. And don't clip that, dog. I ain't trying to get sued by, what was that, In Vogue? One of those girls groups I hardly paid attention to. This is the show, man. Hey, man, a week was a week. Wrapping up the week. Everybody found out this week Kwame Brown's not the one to play with. I mean, just Kwame Brown ain't the one. That's all I'm saying, okay? I shouldn't even be using his name on this podcast because those that know don't tell. Those that tell don't know, dog. Kwame Brown, he ain't the one, dude. He ain't the one. You know, when somebody gets to the point where they've had a little too much of your comedy, like the too much jokes, all you do, oh, he's a bust. Oh, he's no good. Next thing you know, dog, y'all went on in Kwame Brown's timeline. Y'all found out what it was real about. It was a Harvey Marison situation, dude. I was watching from afar. Because one thing I noticed about the Kwame Brown situation is everybody that knew Kwame Brown kept their mouth shut. Okay? Everybody that knew Kwame Brown kept their mouth shut. You dudes out here watching to all the smoke and Stephen A. Smith and all these dudes that yapping. And y'all think this is only entertainment. No, dog. You got some real ones out here in these streets, dog. And Kwame Brown is the one. He ain't the one to play with. As far as I'm concerned, if you've ever done anything to him, I suggest you apologize right now. Even if you thought about apologize, even if you said, oh, man, that dude's no good, you just apologize to Kwame Brown, dude. It's the only way to go. Personally, I think the LA Lakers should retire Kwame Brown's jersey. It feels appropriate, dog. I mean, you don't want to get on the wrong side of this dude. He'll show up to the Staples Center like it ain't no big deal, dog. And if he does show up at the Staples Center, give him a uniform. Give him a uniform. Give him at least 5 minutes, dog. I mean, what are you're mad Andre Drummond's not going to be able to play for you? That dude stinks. And you know why I say that? Because I know Andre Drummond ain't about that life, dog. I say that about Andre Drummond, man. So it ain't one of the things, man. And this will not be on social media, by the way. Like, if this clip ends up being on social media, somebody going to be stanking. And it might be me, man. This whole thing is weird, man. So let me seamlessly transition to something I wanted to talk about. Hey, so I was I was watching YouTube, man. And did you know WAWA served dinner? Oh yeah, the gas station WAWA. and I call it a gas station, which some people might find disrespectful. I call it a gas station because they sell gas, dog. If you sell gas, you are a gas station. No matter how many people oh man, no, the Wawa got good food. That's a gas station, son. That is a gas station. All right? 7-Eleven, gas station. I'm not trying to make 7-Eleven like it's some beautiful place. No, dude, that is a gas station. It's one of my favorite places to eat. But don't get me wrong, that's a gas station. By the way, 7-Eleven don't serve dinner. Oh, yeah, I found that on the YouTube, man. Wawa out here not only selling dinner, advertising dinner. Wawa, I was watching, they had a commercial right before a YouTube video came on. It's a Wawa, now serving dinner. They had chicken parmesan. That's right. They had a chicken parmesan for a Wawa commercial, dude. I don't know what the pandemic has done to the rest of the world, the rest of America, but do we really need to get dinner at the gas station? Is that what we going through? And I'm not talking about grabbing something for dinner. I'm talking about getting dinner. Like, because you never know when dinner is going to hit you. You know what I mean? You have a good night. Maybe you go out, you have some drinks, you with the people. Oh, man, we need something to eat. Oh, shoot, we'll go by the Wawa. And you know what I mean? You go get you some taquitos or, a couple slices of questionable pizza. You know what I mean? Throw some shekels at a homeless person. That's a good night. But if you sit up here putting on the suit and the tie so you can enjoy the tour of Italy at the Wawa, dude, that ain't the way to do it. It's just not the way to do it. Long term, that's not good. It ain't good for your short term, by the way. I'm not convinced that you can have chicken parm at a Wawa and still be okay with yourself. Like that's not something you can just shake off in a week. Dude having ravioli at the gas station, dude. That's not something you're supposed to be able to do. I'm gonna be real. And I watched the commercial, and I'm not going to have the chicken parm at the Wawa. You guys that have the chicken parm, you can hit me up in my timeline below, man. Let me know how the chicken parm is. So I'm not going to have the chicken parm at the Wawa. But it looked good in the commercial. I'm not going to lie, man. It looked fantastic, dude. Like, the commercial looked great. And I know commercials can be deceiving, but it looked delicious. It looked exactly like the food at Olive Garden. And it had me thinking, is Olive Garden out here serving gas station food? No, dog, is the Wawa just as good as a gas station? And is Olive Garden serving gas station food? And maybe that's why they filling you up with so much salad. You know what I mean? They're filling you up with so much salad so you have a good runway to get that chicken parm up out of you, dog. How do they keep getting all this lettuce? I don't know who the plug is for Olive Garden, but the plug delivers pepperoncinis and lettuce by the boatload, dog. Like, honestly, how much lettuce do you think Olive Garden goes through in a day? You know, I'm thinking enough to like feed a herd of animals, enough to feed a gas station. That's how much lettuce they go through in a day. It's wild, man. Olive Garden may be serving gas station food. And it had me thinking, like, if Olive Garden is going to serve gas station food, put other stuff on the menu that you would get at the gas station. Chances are, I'd go to Olive Garden a lot more. You know, maybe some Hostess cupcakes, dog. Imagine if you went into Olive Garden. What do you want for the dessert? Some snowballs, dog. You know, with the whipped cream in the middle, the marshmallow on top, the pink ones. You know, I don't mess with those black ones. That ain't the way you want to go, man. Some of that. Imagine if you walked into Olive Garden and they had a Slurpee machine, man. You know what I mean? An icy, if that's the way you roll, dog. And then, you know what I mean? You could halfway through your dinner, you could just get up, walk over to the ice machine, like a cruise ship. Basically, like Olive Garden, dude. Take off the cloak of secrecy. You've been exposed, man. You are out here running the gas station for profit. I appreciate the effort because my dream was always to own a 7-Eleven. And I say was because I'm not sure I'm going to achieve my dream. But my dream is to man a Slurpee machine, dude. I love Slurpees so much, I made a joke about Slurpees and put it on my comedy album. That's how much I love Slurpees. So long live Wawa dinners, and you probably won't live long. It's the Last Show podcast. Thank you for tuning into the Last Show. It's called the Last Show because this may be it. All right. Transition. Oh, I didn't stop it. Can't stop the music. You can't stop the music. Music was pay the bill. Can't. So you guys that are new to the live stream or listened to the live stream before. So I review a song every episode. It's one way to get around being able to use music. You just review the song. So now shout out. This week is James Brown, Doing It to Death. How you feel, brother? I feel good. Welcome back to the Last Show podcast. We're gonna have a funky good time. James Brown, Doing It to Death. Man, importance of this song is, by the way, this song, I have a playlist called Running with James B, or I think it's called Running with James Brown. And it's it's a running playlist I made that just has like James Brown music on it. Excuse me. It's a playlist I made to run, just with James Brown music on it. And by the way, if you did Doing It to Death man, I was just thinking about it. Doing It to Death and my man right here, Make It Funky. If you just put those two songs on the album would be filthy. The album will also be 25 minutes long. And no lie, I mean, two songs James Brown put out, fire. 25 minutes, dog. James Brown had the trick to the whole game, dog. James could go out and do a concert, do two jokes, and bounce, dog. That is the way you want to get your money. The longer you in this game, that's what you do it. Doing It to Death. Significance of this song is the great Paul Mooney passed away, and my man did it to death, man. That dude was still performing live forever. I mean, of course, the pandemic, nobody really performed, but that dude was still going on tour, still performing live in front of audience, doing it to death, man. So the great Paul Mooney, who basically touched all the old school comedians. I'm going to talk about comedy again on this podcast this week. But all of them, Chappelle, Pryor, Saturday Night Live, Sanford and Son, Red Fox. I mean, touched them all, man. And dude, that's a dude that just did it the way he wanted to do it. Even the way he wanted to do it might have been a terrible way to do it, but he did it the way he wanted to do it. And there's a certain level of thing that sometimes you sacrifice when you do it the way you want to do it, especially as a comedian. Like there's certain level of things that you may not become the most successful. And Paul Mooney was not the most successful comedian, not even close to being the most successful comedian. Somebody like Dick Gregory was not the most successful comedian, not even close. And there's plenty of comics that work now who are hilarious and sell out shows and do well and things of that nature. And matter of fact, they could decide they wanted to do it a different way and become more popular and a household name and all that. But there's sometimes it costs you something to do it your way. It's not free, right? Like you can do it the way everybody does it to get successful and climb the ladder, kind of like corporate America, right? You can do it that way if you want to and have a great life, fulfilled life. And some people, being true to themselves, will just climb the ladder that way, and they're true who they are, and it takes off. Somebody like Jim Gaffigan or whatever, and he does it, oh man, this is natural to me, or Brian Regan or whatever. There's plenty of comedians, that do it that way, and it works that way, and they're popular, and boom, 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 and it's great, man. And they blow up. But sometimes it ain't that way, dude. And you have a decision to make. And you get to decide. And you get to live with that decision. Enter Joe Rogan. That's right. The Joe Rogan thing is so interesting to me, man. Like, this dude right here, somebody said he was like the male Oprah or something like that. I don't know what it is about him, but it's something about him pulling other like comedians in, that have no sense of self. Like being a comedian with no sense of self seems like a tough way to do it. Now I sound like bitter old comedian, and I might put this on social media. It's like now I sound like that, and I hate being bitter old comedian, especially bitter old comedian that acts like he knows everything. And like I don't act like I know everything because I actually don't know everything. But one thing I do know is a lot of you dudes out here are herbs, dog. Herbs. in this time in a day, in this era, time of day, moment of time, however you want to phrase it, this whole idea of cancel culture, and I have people that ain't even comedians that find out I do comedy and it's like, well, man, it must be tough for you nowadays, It's so much. No, it actually isn't, because I'm good at this. Like, it actually isn't hard to do comedy when you're good at it. It ain't hard to do anything if you're actually good at it. The great philosopher Joker once said, when you're good at doing something, you never do it for free. And you dudes is out here giving away a lot of free shows out here in these streets, man. Joe Rogan got you suckers moving to Texas thinking that's going to blow you up. When the last time it's like, you know what the hotbed of comedy is? Dallas. That don't never happen, man. A lot of things, and I heard like Joe Rogan on the podcast, and he said something about, the way the world is going and the way the culture and the conservative, like, it's going to be tough. Eventually, he said something about there's be no space for a white male. I want to get the quote right, man, because I don't want to misquote Joe Rogan. All the Joe Rogan hive. What is the Joe Rogan? Like Beyonce has the beehive, and what is Joe Rogan have? Meathead hive. I don't want you dudes out here trying to keep me put me in a cobra clutch. White man, no need. Now you can see I type like a 2-year-old. All right, there it is. Straight white men are not allowed to talk. Advertiser. Straight white men are not allowed to talk in the woke world. And he said, you can never be woke enough. That's the problem. It keeps going further and further and further down the line. You get to the point where you capitulate, where you agree to all the demands. It'll eventually get to straight white men are not allowed to talk. Let me tell you something. This dude is voicing some weird fear of white dudes thinking one day they're going to be useless. Let me assure you, white people, there will always be a need for you. There'll always be a need for you. If you keep capitulating, the fear of someone taking something from you when no one's taking anything. Societies as a whole move forward and they evolve. You know who is probably saying this same thing back in the day? You know what I mean? Milton Berle. I bet Milton Berle was really angry at there'll be no space for white men in the future. Look around, dog. Turn on Netflix. Matter of fact, you can pause this, pause this. Turn on Netflix. Count the number of black people you see on there with comedy specials. Go to HBO. Count the number of black people you see on there with comedy specials. Root around. Look in there. How many white dudes you see on there? You think there's a shortage of white dudes doing comedy? Honestly? It's like Joe Rogan is espousing this opinion that's just a mouthpiece for other white people in general. Let me assure you, there will be plenty of space for you, dog. Really? You think black people are taking the world over? Black people are like 15% of the population. You think so? What's happening is the same thing that's happening in politics in America as a greater whole. And he's just a vessel for that. What's happening is that people can see the changing demographics of the way America is going. And white people in America are not going to be the majority. In like 20 years, white people will not be the majority. And losing power is a tough thing to happen. You know what's worse? Getting it taken from you. And that's what's happening right now. So you can't act and say and do and be the way you were maybe 10, 20 years ago. Like, I remember Sean Connery did his interview with Barbara Walters, and I remember one of his laments was in the video was like, hey, Barbara, you can't even slap a woman anymore. Sean Connery said, you can't, and then Barbara Walters said, what? Yeah, just slap a woman, dog. Said that, dude. So I'm sorry. Yeah, you can't slap a woman. Now, let me get to my real point, dude. And this is the part that doesn't even apply to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is just a mouthpiece for me to get this off. Once again, I hate coming off as like this comedian. You dudes ain't funny. You dudes ain't funny, man. All you dudes that's out here on this Joe Rogan tip, all you dudes are, yeah, man, cancel. It makes it so tough to perform. Be funny. Be funny. It costs you something to do this. Like, you can't just do this and be famous and be a jackass. Like, all those things can't work together at the same time, okay? Unless you're really funny. Whoa! Miracle. It's called comedy. Be funny. And plenty of dudes been cashing a whole bunch of checks that they didn't deserve to cash. Plenty of dudes out here with the sole goal of making people uncomfortable, with the sole goal of being shocking, with the sole goal of saying, hey, coming up next, the effing chink. A bunch of dudes out here making money that maybe should have never been making money in the first place. You dudes, your rent is due, dog. Your rent is due. That's one thing this pandemic has done. It's one cause of the pandemic, dude. People come out of the pandemic, they ain't trying to spend all that Biden money on you. Oh yeah, man, dudes is coming up, but now they got decisions to make. You know, do I want to eat outside at Olive Garden, you know, have some chicken parm from the WAWA? Or do I want to go see this comedian on stage? And by the way, if everything's been shut down and everything opens up, now people get to pick and choose. And now people's sensibilities have changed on top of it, and you ain't funny? Oh man, it's going to be a long road to hoe, dude. Get funny. You dudes sit up here lament and talk, oh, well, yeah, well, you know, just can't say anymore. Dude, get funny. Or get out the game. It's one or the other, dude. That's really what this whole thing is about, dude. The great comedians, the great entertainers, the great performers don't complain about the changing times as a means to say, I'm done. You can complain about the time. You can say, oh, things are different. But if you're great, it don't matter, dude. Dave Chappelle would be great in any era. Joe Rogan would be great in any era. Okay? Your mans. Man, not Paul Mooney. Your mans that used to, I forgot his name. Those would be great in any era, man. Richard Pryor would be great in any era. If you're good enough, you can say whatever you want to. If you're willing to say it. That's part of the art. Part of the game may be you're not going to be famous. Part of the game may be some people ain't going to like you. That's part of things. People don't have the right to voice their opinion. People have the right to say, I don't like him. I'm not going to listen to him. And if that cancels your career, you weren't very good. Period. Is that some kind of revolution? You weren't very good. You can be counterculture. You can be super liberal. You can be super conservative. You can be super objectionable. You can be foul. You can be clean, but you gotta be funny. And you dudes forgot funny was part of the game. Going on a podcast and ranting about black people taking over is the idea of, oh, the white man, if we keep capitulating this, we're not going to have a place. You probably won't, because you're probably not funny. Just a word to the wise, dog. You need to crack that notebook open and actually start writing something down. Stop doing show. Well, let's get high for 15 minutes and we'll come back and while we're not high, and then we'll let the audience get high, and then we'll have a good chuckle and I'll charge you $20 a person. No, dude, that ain't gonna work, dog. You got to put the work in. Crack that notebook open, get you a pen. I'm sure you got pens with a whole lot of ink in it because I've seen you act and it's terrible. Crack the notebook, get a nice pen, and start writing something down and work on your craft, dude. Work on your craft. It's enough. Stop complaining. You sound like a baby. All right. I hate being that guy on the thing, dude. I hate that, man. It's like, because what I've been doing, I've been in the game, it'll be 17 years this year, and I feel all of those 17 years. I would say like the last, 4, 5 have been a blur. Like ever since I got married, my career has been a blur. It's because the career is not the most important thing anymore, man. It's been a blur, man. But the lament of the white man is not something I really saw coming. It's so weird. So weird. For Joe Rogan, I can't say what I want to say. Joe Rogan can't say what he wants to say. What is Joe Rogan not saying that he wants to say? I'm just asking. Joe Rogan has millions of viewers. He has millions of dollars millions of viewers doing it his way, being funny, appealing to a certain demographic. What possibly is Joe Rogan not saying that he wants to say? What possibly? Oh, you want to espouse that maybe the vaccine don't work? Okay, cool. Don't take the money from Spotify. It costs something. The money is the reason they're telling you not to say it. They say, hey, man, don't talk bad about the vaccine. And if you don't, we'll give you $50 million. Oh, deal. Okay? But if you take the money, that comes with it. There's a cost to be an artist. So you trade some of your artistry for cash. By the way, I'm open for business. I will trade some for cash. Spotify, if you're listening, holla at your boy. But the idea that Joe Rogan is not, he's holding back every week on the podcast. When I see the clips, man, stop it. He's not holding back. It's just a lament of the white man. The white man that feels like he's losing his place in America. It's the same appeal of the Donald Trump. It's the same appeal. The fear that something is leaving you that actually matters to you. They're taking something from you. No, man, people in general are just becoming more decent. So you can't slap a woman anymore. I'm sorry, Sean Connery. You can't slap a woman, Doug. It's like, and he's just a voice for you people, dude. It's just a voice. Like, the reason it's popular, the reason Joe Rogan's popular is because he's speaking to a subset of America, a subset of people around the world, international. Joe Rogan, by the way, is funny. I don't want to make any... Joe Rogan, I forget what album it is. I wish I remember. Joe Rogan has one of the best closing jokes in the history of stand-up. One of the best closing jokes about a tiger and tigers on the Serengeti, like, having sex. Like, it's one of the best. I should have did a better description of it, but it's one of the best closing jokes. Joe Rogan is funny. Joe Rogan is creative. Joe Rogan knows what he's doing. But so it's not even about him. It's more of the voice of that thing. And the truth of the matter is, what's happening, dude, is comics taking your spot. You cash checks for a long time. Now it's just time to earn that money, dude. Get out there, crack that notebook, earn that money. By the way, I'm recording my third comedy album in Seattle, Washington, the 27th and 28th. Kortney's been cracking that notebook, dog. I'm not out here taking your money. I've been cracking the notebook, man. You can get tickets to the show. I plugged myself off Joe Rogan's back. I appreciate you, dog. All right, so a couple things that have nothing to do with the other things that I already talked about. J. Cole's album, I meant to talk about in the last podcast, and I didn't. Don't rush to listen to it. It's called, I think, The Off Season, and it was definitely the off season because that's exactly what it sounded like. Somebody practicing. It was a mixtape. It was a mixtape. You know, don't rush for it, man. It was a mixtape. That's what Joe Rogan. That's what J. Cole released, dog. It's a straight up mixtape, man. It doesn't there's a couple like things in there like a normal mixtape, right? There's a couple things here, a couple things there. It's like, oh, that's cool, whatever. But in general, it's a mixtape, dude. Don't waste your time on that. The Warriors lost last night. The Golden State Warriors lost to the Memphis Grizzlies last night, so they're out of the playoffs, even though they were at 8 seed, so they're in the playoffs. But these were play-in games, so I guess technically they were never in the playoffs. So they lost to the Lakers. 2 days later, they lost to Memphis. Now they're at home. It makes me wonder, all these people that talk about Steph Curry being the best player in the world, he just lost. I'm just going to throw this out there. Do you think LeBron would have lost that game last night? I remember saying this in the 2016 playoffs. And I remember when Cleveland was down 3-1, Draymond got kicked out. I remember saying, yo, if LeBron's that dude, he'll win this series. Like, this will be legendary. They're down 3-1. I said this. I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but I was like, yo, if Jordan was in this series and they were 3-1 and Draymond got kicked out, Jordan would win this series. So if LeBron is that dude, he should win. And then LeBron won against Steph Curry, by the way. Not saying Steph Curry ain't good, but to quote the great philosopher Meek Mill, there's levels to this. I saw ESPN's is Steph Curry top 10 all time. Are you crazy? If Steph Curry top 10 off the top of my dome, let's go top 10. You got Jordan, you got LeBron, you got Magic, you got Bird, you got Kareem, you got Shaq, you got Bill Russell. Oh, the great Bill Russell. Why did I forget about you? Oh, make me feel good. Tim Duncan's up there. Do you want to put Kobe up there? You want to put Kobe up there? That's fine. Put Kobe up there. That's already 10 right there. Go to the next 10. You got Jerry West. You got Oscar. Did I say Larry Bird? Oh, man. I defamed the legend. The legend, Larry Bird. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, you got Larry Bird, and then you got maybe then you start talking about guys like Steph Curry. Let me think of other dudes. Jason Kidd's a better player than Steph Curry. Yeah, that's right. I said it. I said it on the last show podcast. I said it. Jason Kidd's a better basketball player than Jeff. If you say, hey man, you can have Jason Kidd and Steph Curry. Jason Kidd can't shoot. But if we just talking about shooting, Steve Nash, you got to throw Steve Nash up in there. But I think I'm being a young buck. I need to be an old buck. Somebody owes us. What about the great Julius Erving? Did I forget Julius Erving? Moses Malone? Can that be up there? Start thinking of old dudes. Isaiah Thomas, Zeke. But Zeke is not a better player than Steph Curry. Just not a better player. But Steph Curry's that dude. You got to win some of these series, dude. You got to win all the series you're supposed to lose. Like when you're up 3-1. You got to win all the series you're supposed to win and some of the series you ain't supposed to win. You know? You got to win some of these games eventually. All right? It's the end of the show. Still watching hockey, by the way. Did you see the Panthers Lightning game? Oh man, it was a barn burner. Do they have barn burners in hockey? I just started watching 3 weeks ago. Are there hockey barn burners? It was a barn burner. Oh man, it was excellent, man. Hockey tonight. That's where I'll be, man. It is Saturday, by the way. It's 10:49 a.m. East Coast time. I forgot to tell y'all, man. This is wrap up the show. Thank you, for tuning into the Last Show podcast. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google, and TuneIn Radio, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, at Kortney Shane, Instagram, and Twitter. I'll be in Seattle, Washington, the 27th and 28th of August. You can get tickets. Oh, we got a lot of stuff. Actually, I already have the show, but I've been working on the show now the past couple of days in between playing MLB the show. You know what I mean? Because some shows are more important than other shows. And I've been working on the show, man. It's nice. It's making me laugh, which is good because I only get to laugh when I put it together. By the time I get to the stage, it's funny when I'm like, I knew that was gonna work. So that's that, man. You guys have a good weekend. Take it easy. Peace. All right, thank you for tuning into the live stream, YouTube, all you dudes, Last Show Podcast. Please subscribe. Even if you watch the videos, subscribe, unsubscribe, follow, unfollow, rate, review, do all that, man. Thank you. Take it easy.